welcome to Guitar Tips and Guitar Tips Pro. My name is Adam Levy. This is my weekly video blog series. And each week I talk about some important aspect of the guitar, or music, or a life in music, or any combination of those things. I play guitar, and I presume that you do too. This week I want to talk about the chords next door. The chords next door. I've had students over the years, many students over many years, come to me and say, gosh, I'm a songwriter or a composer, and I feel stuck in the key. Let's say I'm writing a song in the key of A. I know you can go to D and E, and maybe you can go to F sharp minor, maybe C sharp minor. I don't know. There seems like there must be more, and of course there is more. And reharmonization and the subject of harmony generally is a very wide open area of music. I'm not going to try to cover all aspects of harmony in this one tip. I just really want to talk about one specific area where you could consider introducing new sounds into the harmony that are very close to where you already are, but offer a lot of color. And so that's why I'm calling this tip the chords next door. So let's stay in the key of A as I just played a second ago. So we're going to call this our one chord. In music we often use Roman numerals when we're writing things out, or just verbally we'll say this is the one chord. It would be written as Roman numeral 1. It's the 1 because it's built off the first degree of the A major scale. This is the chord associated with the first degree. The second degree is B, and there's a minor chord there. Why is it minor when this is major? Well, if we're using the notes of the A major scale, there's a D natural in there. So we're not going to get a B major if we have a D natural. We've got B minor. That's the 2 chord. Often for people that are detail-oriented, this would be a lowercase Roman numeral 2. So looks like a lowercase I, 2 of those instead of uppercase I. So 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord. That's C sharp minor. The 4 chord is D. 5 chord is E. The 6 chord, F sharp minor. Again, that would be written lowercase. The major chords are written uppercase with capital I or VI or IV or what have you, and the lowercase are written with lowercase. The minors are written with lowercase. There's also one more chord in the key of A. That's G sharp diminished. We're going to not use that chord right now. So we're just going to have 3 major chords and 3 minor chords. All right. So that's our kind of ground zero here. Okay, so what are the chords next door? Well, here's the big idea of this week's tip. If you want to expand your harmonic palette, but stay close to where we've started, one thing you can do is add what are called secondary dominant chords. So that means each one of these 6 chords, again, that's all the chords, not including the diminished chord, we could add to our list of harmonic possibilities the 5 of each of those chords. What I mean is, if we're in the key of A and we're going towards A, we could precede that with its 5 chord, which is E, or sometimes E7. Now that's not much of a revelation because the E and the E7 are already in the key, so that's fine. Let's say, what about the D chord? Well, the 5 of D is A or A7. A is not such a stretch in the key of A because it's the home bass chord, but A7 kind of pushes us towards the D because that G in the A A7 wants to resolve down to F sharp. So that's not really exactly in the key of A if we play A7, but it's quickly resolves to something that is in the key. So that A7 goes to D. If we want to go to E, the 5 chord, we can get there through B7, or plain old B or B7. So let's say I'm on A. So just to get this in your ears, this is the key we're in. And I want to get to the 5 chord. I could pass through B7 to get to E, because it's the 5 of 5. So we've got 1, 5 of 1, 4, 5 of 4, 5, 5 of 5. Okay. Now we can also do the same thing with the minor chord. So if we want to get to the B minor chord in the key of A, we could get there through F sharp major or F sharp dominant, go to B minor. So we could have a progression like this. Why does this work? Well, it works because these dominant chords, these subdominant chords, as they're called, they do the same thing as dominant chords. They really want to resolve, or in this case, actually, to B minor. So we're stepping outside the key to introduce a non-diatonic dominant chord. But it's a functional dominant chord in that it's pushing us towards what feels like 1. So for that moment, this is the 5 we're kind of trying to convince our ears that B minor is the 1. Of course, it's not really the 1, it's just the 2 chord in the A, and we can get back home that way. If we want to get to the F sharp minor, that's the 6 chord, we can go through C sharp 7. So so I went, the basic chords there were A, F sharp minor, and D. Let's say that was my kind of basic campfire progression. I could spice that up by going through the 5 of the F sharp minor, and then the 5 of the 4, 5 of D is A7, and then to D. So what did we not do? Oh, we didn't do the 3 chord. So if I want to go to the 3 chord, of course we can just go there. But we could also go through the 5 of the 3 chord, and then the 5 of the 6 chord to the 6 chord. So you can see how that's working. So try that with a chord progression that you know, and also just listen to music. Goodness, listen to 4 or 5 Beatles songs in a row. You're bound to find this kind of thing. Another common thing that we can do is include the 4 of whatever chord. So we're going to do the same process. To get to 1, we can go through its 4. That's not really a new sound because 4 is already in the key. If we want to get to the actual 4 chord, we can go through its 4. So that's a pretty common progression in rock and pop and blues. So you might wonder, how did that G get in the key? Well, it's the 4 of 4, right? To get to E, we've got its 4. Again, that's in the key, so that's not such a big deal. But really the new chord here was the G, which is the 4 of 4. In the minor chords, it's a little, maybe not what you might expect. I don't know. I don't know what you were expecting, but here's what it's going to be. For minor, we're always going to, the 4 will be minor, and the 5 will be dominant. So if we're in A, and we want to do the chords that surround the B minor, remember, we've got the dominant chord, and we've also got it's 4 minor. So if I want to get to B minor, I could go through E minor to get to B minor. So can hear that's a really natural sound. Even though the E minor is out of the key, once we get to the B minor, your ear connects the dots and feels like, oh, okay, now I see where that was going. If we want to get to the F sharp minor, its 4 minor is B minor, so we can go. Or if we go through the 5. Sorry. That was through the 5, through the 4. And on the C sharp minor, we do the same thing. The 4 minor is F sharp minor. That's the 4 minor of C sharp minor. So these are just pathways, ways to add more harmonic movement when you're writing songs or reharmonizing songs, or you know. Hey, this is Adam Levy. If you are watching on my regular YouTube channel, my Guitar Tips channel, this will be the end of this week's tip. I hope you get tons out of it. I hope you can put it to use in something that you're working on right now. I hope that you can put it to use in something that you're working on a week from now or a month from now, on a gig, on a recording session, at a rehearsal, at a writing session, whatever you're doing. I hope that this stuff is of great value to you. And of course, it's absolutely free. If you find yourself wanting to dig deeper into this topic or any of the topics that I cover here on my channel, there is a whole other universe that you can dive into, which is Guitar Tips Pro. That's my Patreon website. There's a link down below. And it's, I think the basic subscription level is $5 a month. And there's some upper tiers as well. And what you get is just, well, now you're going to get longer tips, so you're going to get deeper dives into these topics in these videos that I shoot. You're going to get the full-length video. They're 25, 30, 35 minutes long, much more exploration. At the upper subscription levels, you'll get PDFs of all of the music. When there's specific examples, you'll get high-quality recordings of me playing the examples. There's bonus material that I post there on a regular basis. There are secret playlists that I've been making on Spotify that are available only to my Patreon supporters. I'm going to have guest guitar tips, field trips, gear stuff, theory stuff, recording stuff. All kinds of content that is only available on my Patreon website. So if you are ready to go pro, click on the link down below and I'll see you in Guitar Tips Pro.